Might as well. Hammy, how you doing?
I'm doing lovely. I'm excited. We're on episode 8, Riles. We're on
That's
episode 8,
crazy.
almost double digits. Almost double
Almost double
digits.
digits.
It's
It's been a journey. I'm
it's
glad
been
y'all
a
are here.
journey. It's been a journey. It's been a lot of learning for sure. Um I think we've definitely like gotten more of the hang of it a lot quicker
Yeah.
than I thought. I thought like podcast and it don't get me wrong, it is difficult. I think tech-wise we had a lot of struggles, but
Mhm.
it's definitely like smoother now. And
Yeah.
it feels like a FaceTime basically.
Essentially. Essentially. It's
Yeah.
like a FaceTime and then just people listen and then comment on it and like and share and subscribe it as well. So
Hopefully, someone like and share, subscribe.
do you want to introduce your little friend while we're here?
Oh my freaking god. Do you guys see what's on top of my head? All right, I was a little hormonal, okay? I'm not going to lie. It happens, you know, once a month, whatever. And I just wanted to trim my hair. I wanted to give myself a little more layers. I got a little bit too brave on my bangs. Most of it came out fine except for this little freaking antenna that I got going on. But, and I can't if I try and put her down, she just goes like straight to the side. But if she goes like straight up, you can't really notice her. I pretend you can't really notice her, so that's what that's what we're rocking
We're gonna
today.
capture this one featuring Hammy's friend.
Yeah, yeah,
There
it'll
we go.
go away in 2 months. I'll be fine.
She'll
It
be
is.
fine. Does your hair take that long to grow?
Mhm.
Really?
For this to be heavy enough, yeah, for her to
Mm.
weigh herself down,
Because you
she's
got the
gonna
bang.
she has to go out a little bit, and then she's gonna fall, and then I can like group her in with the other stuff, and
There
then
you go. Got a
she'll be good.
wrangler. Got a
Yeah.
wrangler and Hammy, so I have a question for you.
Mhm.
If you're comfortable,
Mhm.
why did you join the
Mhm.
military?
Why did I join the military? Um, I think I wanted to just do I was doing a lot of part-time jobs. Before I joined the military, I would work like 2 or 3 jobs, and I know like in the beginning of my early adult life, like I didn't have a car until I was a little bit older and I was taking the bus places and I was
Mhm.
like just not in a financially good place. Um, and I wanted to just I don't know. I know some people say it's like a calling. I
Mhm.
know both of my parents were linguists in the military. Um, I would say it's just something that I felt I really wanted to do. I just wanted to change my life. I just wanted to
Yeah.
change my life, and I think at the end of the day, that's kind of one of the guaranteed ways to do that in the
Mhm.
States. Um,
So it seems like it was a little bit for stability, a little bit of like tradition, and then a little bit of 180 life turn.
yeah, like I knew about it because of my
Yeah.
parents for sure.
Mhm.
Um, And then I was just like, "You know what? Like, just because I had that information there, I was like, I might as well give it a try. It
Yeah.
wouldn't hurt." I've had someone in my family in the Air Force since the Air Force was created.
Wow.
Yeah, every generation somebody's joined. Yeah, and it's always the Air Force. There's Army and Navy in there too, but,
Yeah.
I kept it going. I kept it going.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
definitely did. I do not come from a military family.
Yeah, what made you wanna join?
I was 17. I was a kid. My dad was like, you can either go to community college, keep working full time and pay your rent, or you can join the military. And I was like, I will take the military option. But I originally tried joining the army.
Did
Um,
you really?
but that's also
Why?
because I thought that the army was the entire military. Like I
Oh.
didn't know that there was different branches.
Oh, little Riles.
I had no idea. I had no
No.
idea anything about it, but that was the option I chose. One of my grandfathers was in Vietnam. The other one was in the Korean War.
Yeah,
But,
yeah,
like, they were already gone by the time, like, I joined, and, like, I never had any conversations with them about it
yeah.
because they were already gone at that point. But today, maybe there's some people out there. Maybe there's some people out there that were like me and think that the army is the entire military. What was
Sorry,
that?
I went this
Oh,
way and
no.
I know.
She's
I I
gone.
I could land a plane in the desert at night if you just shined a flashlight on my face. I know. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
scooch on over this way.
Just gonna scooch a little bit. But we're going to. Do you want to close your blinds?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me a second. I was about to.
Sweet
I
baby
was
Jesus,
about.
crisis averted.
I was about to do the podcast, just moving against the sun.
She eventually would have ended up like in a crevice down there.
I would have just been waiting, and then finally would go down and be like, "Oh, finally, the Earth stopped rotating."
But we're gonna be breaking down a little truth, little myth of what civilians think about the military. Like, I mean, you had just said it. Everyone in the Air Force knows how to fly a plane.
Everybody doesn't know how to fly a plane. We all know how to fly a plane. You know
what I remember? So parade field, that's what it's called. The parade field at graduation, where you do the actual like march in your blues.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The actual parade field at Lackland has like all of the, what are they called? Like stationary planes, ground planes.
Yes. Yep.
Whatever they are. And I remember like walking
Grounded.
by. Yeah, I don't know what there's an actual name for them. I'm sure it'll hit me at like 3 a.m. tonight. I'm just gonna sit up and be like, ah. But I remember like walking around and my parents being like, "Oh, like what plane is that?" And I'm like, "One that flies." Like I'll be like with my friends and they'll like point up to a plane. They're like, "What kind of plane is that?" And I'm like, "One that flies." Like I literally don't know. I don't know planes.
Yep. I give them nicknames, and that's like the big cargo one. I didn't know what it was. I was like, that's a Big Bertha. That's Big Bertha. She's a whale in the sky. I don't know what she is though.
Have you ever been up in a cargo plane?
No. I've only done the medic loading drills for getting people on the planes back at what was it, Bullis? Camp Bullis, where you practice
like EMEDs and APES and ERPs and all of that.
Yeah. That's it. But I haven't been. Have you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, I've been up in a cargo and a KC. Terrible.
Because it was bumpy?
I don't like flying to start. So if you mix flying and like trying to do your job at the same time, it's not enjoyable to any degree. Yeah, not about it. But this is gonna be a myth. Not everybody in the Air Force knows how to fly a plane. I would have no idea what to do in that scenario.
Nope.
We would probably all crash.
Yep. Although, did you know with your GI Bill, if you're not using it for college, which I am not, you can use it to get your pilot's license?
Did you know that you can also use the Air Force Cool for that while you're still active duty?
Isn't the Cool top though at $2,000?
5,000.
It's 5,000?
It's 5,000 for your entire career.
Huh. That's cool.
The more you know.
I didn't know that.
The more you know. But not everybody knows how to fly a plane. I can't even identify planes. So
nope. Definitely. I know the F-16s and the A-10s because the A-10 has a little face on it.
That's a Warthog.
That was an A-10.
Yeah, that's the Warthog.
It's called a Warthog?
Yeah. Low, slow, kill everything below.
Oh.
Because they can fly super low off the ground.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I only know that because that was my BMT flight.
Was it really?
Yes. Yeah, everybody else was like the Gators and like
the
Bulldogs. Here I am.
What? Roll Gator, roll, baby.
Yeah, they were right next to us, and I remember they would do that, and then the Bulldogs were like over, and they would like bark and shit, and I'm like,
what did you guys do?
Low, slow, kill everything below.
Oh yeah, we couldn't figure out what the heck you guys were saying for the longest time.
We were a plane. Everybody else was like an animal.
We heard like and then we're like, sorry, what are they saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
We were the Warthogs.
Yeah.
We were a cool plane. We were a band plane. But
I was in the airport and I saw somebody with the gator shirt on it, and I didn't say anything. But in my head I saw the shirt and I was like, roll Gator, what? Roll Gator, roll, baby. Yeah.
You should have said it. Were you able to ask your MTIs stuff like that? Like, were you just able to like be like,
yeah, we were for sure.
Like, ordered.
We would wait, but also like if we all looked like stupid and confused, they would just read that on our faces and they'd be like, do you guys even know what the hell they just said? And we go, no, drill sergeant. And they go, they said
no, drill sergeant.
No, drill sergeant. Have you heard of the God
She's
damn it, Riley. Can
buffering.
you just lead this fucking conversation? I
Yeah.
can't make it seem smooth.
Yeah, no, I got it. Yeah, I'm surprised that you were able to just like have those conversations, which brings us to number 2 statement
What
from
you
the
got?
civilians.
What you
Drill
got?
sergeants yell all day, every day.
No, not in the Air Force. They don't. But
Yeah, I think it's genuinely, I think it's really dependent on like the situation because
Yep.
like yes, it's the whole like break you down to like build you back up kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
that first week, like honestly, probably up until like 3-4 weeks, it was like screaming, yelling, like blah blah blah. Because I remember the night that we got in, we probably didn't get back to our dorms until like maybe 3-4 a.m.
You were that group?
Yeah, so they had to let us sleep in.
They
Like,
let you sleep in?
I mean, it was like 8 o'clock probably when they woke us up.
I was the first group there. I was
Yeah.
there at like 9. We had to wait for y'all to get there. The 3 a.m.ers. We got 3 hours of sleep and then we were on the wall.
Mm.
We were zonked.
That's not my fault. I distinctly remember sprinting through the Charlotte airport trying to
Yeah,
get
you were
to my
you guys
flight.
flew in, right?
Yeah, well, okay, so I ended up finding this out later. So the band flight, which is what I was in, was like it's like hand selected based off of like if you can play an instrument, but then also everybody else who is like late to BMT because there was one girl on my flight who actually she didn't end up coming in until it's like a day or two after everybody. I have a fuzzy. It was like a day or two after everybody else because she had flew in from Germany. She also flew in drunk.
Oh. How did you find out she was drunk?
Because she was drunk. The
Oh,
drinking age was like 18, 16, something in Germany.
Oh, wow.
She was 20, but yeah, I mean, she was on like a 14-hour flight probably. So she had
That's
a
pretty
little
base.
dranky. She had a little dranky on her.
That's pretty base. She's like, I can't go drink in the United States. I'm gonna get smashed on the plane.
Yeah.
Right before basic.
Bold. I just found out today. I met one of my students' sisters, and she comes from this huge family, and all of her siblings, there's one that's younger than her, but all of her siblings are in the military, all different branches. Like literally every branch is represented in the family. That's super cool.
So
super
cool.
But
Thanksgiving must be awesome.
she's very, very intelligent. And if she listens to this, she's going to know exactly that this is about her. She's very, very intelligent, but she has one of the biggest personalities I have ever met. So, one day we were like day 1 off the rip, right? We're like asking people, I think we asked them as like an icebreaker, like, what are your icks or something like that? And she said something, 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 and hard drugs. And we were like, period. Okay, girl. Like, we agree with you. Hard drugs are an ick. Like, absolutely. So it was a little bit later. And I'm teaching, right? And I'm doing my thing. And she asked, she was like, do we stop the ambulance at a railroad? And I was like, is there a train going by? And she was like, no. And I was like, then no. And she goes, well, school buses do it. And I was like, well, yeah, school buses are legally obligated to stop and like open up the doors and listen, but like we are not a school bus. We are a ambulance. Like there's a big difference. Yeah. She was like, no, Sergeant, like what if it's someone like really important? And I was like, who? Like who is this person? She was like, what if it's like Osama? And I was like, okay, well,
Bin Laden?
Yeah. And I was like, well,
in the ambulance in the United States.
Yes, and this is literally, that was my reaction. And I was like, Osama bin Laden is dead. And it's a very good thing that he's dead. And she looks at me with full sincerity and goes, Sergeant, no, like the president. And I go, girl, do you mean Obama? And I was like, but I told her sister this today, and her sister was like cackling on the ground. But my moral of the story, I just forgot where the loophole was. I guess because her sister's like dying as I'm like telling her this, and like this girl's like super extroverted, like just so intelligent, so smart, such a sweet girl. And she's like, well, did you hear about what she did, like showing up to basic? And I was like, no, but please tell me. I guess she showed up with like brand new eyelash extensions, like nails done, like all of this stuff. Too basic. And I was like, there is no way. There's no way.
Be her.
I also want to be her when I grow up.
That's amazing.
But I guess like they were all like around her, like yelling, like that kind of thing. So they're not yelling all of the time. I think it's very situational dependent because yes, it's the whole break you down to build you back up, but at the same time, there is a lot of like mentorship that comes from it.
Yeah.
Like from basic.
And you're in a group of like what, 80 people, so you have to project your voice.
I think the flights cap out at like 54 or something.
Do they?
I think they do now. At least I have quite a few friends that are TIs. But like I don't know if it's like a brother and sister flight like put together, that's like 100 something people.
Maybe, yeah.
Because
I feel like
they've now like
62
they've like correlated, coordinated, conjoined,
combined.
combined
There we go.
the flights, like the male and female flights.
Do they have the same dorms?
No, hell no.
Okay,
Hell
I was about to
no.
say,
A
geez
lot of
Louise.
chlamydia if that were to happen.
Riley!
They test you for that shit as soon as you get there anyway.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah. But they test you for all that stuff anyway. Shit. Were they not combined when you went through the schoolhouse?
I mean, we never like talked to them or like hung out with them at all.
Like male and females on the same floor. Was that gone by the time you got to the schoolhouse?
Yeah, that was gone like right like a couple before me.
Yeah, that was a thing. Like when I was at the schoolhouse, like it was male and female like combined and like everything. And
we heard the stories.
Yeah. But
we heard the stories.
It was probably like my first week there, and the girl that lived next to me, it was like either next to me or like a couple down from me. Like she was very visibly pregnant, and like there was no denying that like she wasn't pregnant. And I was like, I don't know. I was like freshly 18, and I was like, "You pregnant?" She was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "It's like how did that happen?" Because like I was trying to do the math of like. Because B-meds are there for like a year and like a half. Like it's a long time that B-meds are there in tech school. And I was like, maybe she got pregnant because there is no rules that you cannot be pregnant during technical training. There isn't.
Nope.
There is nothing. And I was like, I don't know. I feel like I'm making this sound like a lot worse than what it was, but I was like, oh, like how did that happen?
I don't think so.
Like blah blah blah, whatever. And she was like, oh, like when I went home on Exodus, like me and my husband like planned this, and I was like, I hope that she's doing well. I would not want to be pregnant during tech school, but
it would be an extra amount of
integrated
stress for sure. Integrated.
That's the word I was looking for. Thank you.
Good job, Riley. Good job.
Thank you. That is the word that I was looking for.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
But depends on the situation. Which brings us to number 3.
Another civilian mythbuster?
Another, of course. That's what this whole episode is about.
Let's freaking go.
Brings me back to my girl, my student I was just telling you about. You must be super disciplined to be in the military. Keep in mind, I love this student, and I know that she's probably going to hear this. I adore her, but I told her to her face that she has the least amount of military bearing that I've ever met in my life. In my life. So there's definitely people that are not. Some people join for the discipline, but there's some people that just doesn't come to them, right? Like there's people, which always surprises me when people join the military but don't like being told what to do.
Yeah, there's definitely a chip that you got to get off your shoulder. Like the whole, like, I didn't join because I would have punched the drill sergeant. It's like, yeah, okay. Look, settle down there. Settle down there, bud. Settle down there.
Every drill sergeant in the military is waiting for the day that a trainee tries to punch them in the face.
But no trainee is going to do that because you don't join the like, if you think like, oh, I would punch a drill sergeant, you're going to punch the person for the branch that's creating you and is in the branch that you wanted to join. Like, what do you think the military is? Just some cool guy, tough thing? Like,
yeah, that doesn't make any sense to me. That makes zero sense to me. I just watched a video. Hi. Welcome to the Boots Off podcast, Bo. I literally just watched a video, and it was because the Army, their drill sergeants are either basic training drill sergeants or AIT drill sergeants. So they call it AIT. We call it Airmen in Training. What is the A for them?
Army?
Army in Training? There's got to be a different word. Academic and training, something.
I don't know, but I know it's called AIT.
Yeah, they call it AIT. We call it tech
Yeah.
school, or it's the same exact thing though. But she posted a video and she was so excited too, and it was a funny video. But she was like, I had the first trainee just lose his damn mind on me today. I guess she was like, trainee, like come this way, and he was like, no, no, drill sergeant. And she was like, what? And he was like, I'm not going back, drill sergeant. So she had to call the cops on him. Like she had to literally call the cops on him. I guess the kid started walking the other way and decided to literally go AWOL.
Oh my gosh, that's just.
But that's like, I don't know. I don't understand the people that like that join the military for something, whatever the reason is, whatever it might be, just to get kicked out.
And it's not easy. It's not easy to go and wait and
No.
you have to find the record of every place you've ever lived. You have to get enough
there's a
people
lot.
for people to call for your clearance to get approved. They like you have to wait, you have to go to MEPS, you have to get tested, you have to get medical, you have to wait, you have to get your job picked, and then you are in the delayed entry. Like it's not a walk in the park.
No.
It's not a walk in the park. And for discipline wise, I feel like everybody kind of learns in their own way. For me, I became way more disciplined when I got paperwork. Not because I had to keep cool.
Yeah.
When I was getting it. Because you can get paperwork in the Air Force for pretty much anything. And sometimes it's stuff that you don't agree with. Sometimes you just have to get like there's a thing where it's like you definitely learn how to take accountability. Like if you're an NCO, you probably know. Like if you have a troop that messes up, you have to say like, I messed up. That's my troop. Like you have to take it, even if you didn't do anything wrong. It's not, well, they did it and I didn't. That is not a thing. So I feel like once you are in your career, especially like with paperwork or if you get a troop, that's what my discipline locked in. Like my emotional discipline has gotten very, very, very good. But I was gluing my freaking I was hot glue gunning my patch on my blues because I didn't have my rank for an inspection. I was the only one. We were passing around the hot glue gun. We couldn't find super glue. We straight up were like,
you were the only one that got paperwork though?
When I was at my like unit, I got a lot of paperwork. I feel
like a lot of people are going to be like surprised to hear that.
I think so too. But
because I feel like a lot of people really think that like paperwork is like not a common thing, like blah blah blah. Like I remember I was having a conversation with one of my nurses and she had been here for like 18 years and like I had come back to her crying because I just got an LOR and she was like I have never gotten paperwork. And I was like, because you're an officer, ma'am.
Officers don't get paperwork. If it's the end, if you officer gets paperwork, it's the end of your career. For enlisted, it's like a rite of passage.
Yeah. We've talked about this. To be a chief, you have to have at least an Article 15 and a divorce.
Yeah.
It's gotta happen.
We don't make the rules.
It's gotta happen.
We just live. It's the military world. We just live in it.
Yeah. I'm gonna share this story because this kid got kicked out, and I don't think that I've ever met someone besides the one girl that I told the story of my first troop that I had.
Oh my god, the marijuana girl.
Yeah, she was fucking off her shit. But this kid, successfully got him entry level separated. He had come into my class and like he was just kind of a shitbag. Like he just kind of like didn't care. He was just kind of like there, like whatever. And like I can work with that, right? Like I can mentor that. I can get you into the shape that I need you to be in.
I can fix you.
Yes, I can fix you. Come to sergeant. Let me fix you. I can work with this.
Lock it in. We're gonna do this.
Lock it in. So in the beginning, it was like he would leave like a minute or two before break. And then like it was like whatever. And then it would kind of flip and it would be like a minute or two after break. And then it would be like 2 minutes before break and 2 minutes after break. And it just kept getting like longer and longer and longer.
Homeboy was vaping in the bathroom.
Well, he was. I wish that he was. I wish that that's what he was doing.
What was he doing?
One day he just. I do. Yeah. Let me get there. I'll get there. So one day he just didn't.
Riley's story.
he just didn't come back. Like, he literally didn't come back at all. And I was like, all right, I'm not starting lecture until he comes back. Where is he? And the whole class was like, oh, he's downstairs. And I was like, doing what? And they were like, he is with his girlfriend in the break room. And I was like, bet. So, I'm pissed already. Like, and like a lot of the times, like when I yell, like I don't have a game plan of what I'm gonna say. I just know that my blood pressure is elevated and I am angry.
Yeah.
So I'm walking down there and the whatever. I'm walking down there and I see him like all the way the other end of the hallway, like all the way across the building, walk by with his girlfriend. He like stops because he was about to like turn to like walk like down towards me, and
I know
then
what you're talking about. Yeah,
turns and books it the other direction.
Books
it, like starts sprinting.
Did you chase?
Oh yeah. I don't think I've ever probably looked as crazy as I did in that moment. I am sprinting. All 5'1" of me is sprinting down the hallway to get this kid, right? He sprints all the way up to the top floor, across, all the way back down, right? I'm keeping up with him. This kid is also like 6'6". The girlfriend is also with him. I have no idea who the girlfriend is. He makes it all the way to like the opposite end staircase underneath the actual stairs. I find him and they're like canoodling. Like they're like thinking that this is like fucking Scooby-Doo or something, like underneath the stairwell. So I pull both of them out, not physically pull them, but like I pulled both of them out and they come out. I am losing my damn mind. I don't even know what I was saying, but I was just going off. I was just going off, right? This is all at him. And there was a lot of buildup to this. Like he had done other shit to get to this point. And I had tried like having conversations with him. I had given him paperwork. My flight chief had given him paperwork. My flight commander had given him paperwork. Like a lot went into it before we got to this moment where we were right now.
And he's still in training status.
Correct. So, I turned back to the girlfriend. I'm like, and you, where are you supposed, like freaking out, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, Sergeant Aya. And I was like, I don't want to hear it. Like, blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever. I was like, go back to class right now. And she turns and she's like bawling and she like runs back to class. And I was like, go. And like, this kid is like walking in front of me. We get back up the stairs and like, he is walking in front of me and he stops and he turns around. He was like, Sergeant, did you seriously leave class to come and find me? And I was like, like my eye starts twitching and I was like, I went off and I was like, you are so disrespectful. You are wasting my time. You are wasting the military's time. You are wasting your classmates' time. You do not deserve to wear the same boots that I do. Like freaking out, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Rightfully so.
I literally did everything. His dad was like an E9 in the Marine Corps.
Good for his dad.
I called his dad in front of the class on speakerphone. I was out of options. Like I had made this kid, like I had heart-to-hearts to him. I had wall-to-walls with him. I had a two-way conversation. I had made this kid cry. Nothing could work. And I remember because, like at this time, like I'm a relatively new staff sergeant and I went back and I will never forget this moment. I went back to a very, very seasoned NCO. She was a tech sergeant. I went back to her and I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with this kid. Like, I feel like I'm a failure, like blah, blah, blah. And she looked at me and she said, it's because you're a bad NCO. And I was like, and at this point, I hadn't told her that the flight chief had also given paperwork, a master sergeant. The senior had given paperwork. Our major had given paperwork. So, like,
context was gone.
Oh, yeah. So, where do I go with that? So I was like, so you think that master sergeant so-and-so, senior so-and-so, and major so-and-so are also bad leaders because they also couldn't correct the behavior? You will figure out the way that you want to lead. And that is a way that I will never, ever lead. But whatever. He ends up graduating and he goes off to one of the hospitals, and it's probably like 2-3 weeks later, and I get an email from one of the coordinators and they're like, hey, did you have an issue with this kid? And I was like,
Oh, is it
hell yes, I did.
you mean for phase 2, right?
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, absolutely. Absolutely. I had an issue with this kid. And they were like, hey, please send us all of the paperwork. So, I send like 15 documents of paperwork like over to these people. And I'm like,
Whoa.
what's going on? They ended up entry level separating him for inappropriate patient contact.
What the hell does that mean? Does that mean what I think it means?
Yes. Yeah.
Ah!
Yeah. So I went back and I told my leadership, I like had called them in for a meeting and I was like, I will apologize afterwards, but I want to let you know that I told you guys so. I told you so that he needed to be separated, but no one would listen to me. But he lacks the bearing. So that one's also like a 50-50. Not everybody in the military has discipline. I like saying this. Just because you are in the military, that doesn't make you a good person at all. At all. Have y'all seen the docket? Go take a look at that shit. Go take a look at the docket, and then
the docket is the people who get charged with military.
they go to court martials.
Yes, which is the military court system, which is a very different place than the civilian court system. It's a very, very different place.
Have you ever gone to like watch a court martial?
No.
They're open to the public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had an airman that had to go through that, and that's not something I ever want to.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking. It's definitely heartbreaking, but that's also not to say, because I feel like a lot of people in the military get like a super bad rep. Doesn't mean there aren't super like patriotic, locked in people, but for sure, there are also people that just really like we push through. I don't know why we push them through or why we let them we don't correct personality behaviors like sooner rather than later. It's just,
I think I'm just coming from the standpoint of like, just because you're in the military, it doesn't automatically make you
doesn't
good. Like, you to your core are not going to change. If you join the military as a bad person and as a shitty person in general, the military is not going to change that. Like, you're still going to be a shitty person.
Yep. So, and you and I can probably both think of even not just trainees, but other people like off the top of our head that are like either they got kicked out or they're still in, and it's just like,
yeah, girl, I sat on the court martial on the other side. I am fully aware. So you must be super disciplined. Yes, to a degree, you do have to be disciplined, but it doesn't mean that everybody is.
If you want to be a good troop and you're taking the military seriously, you will acquire the ability to be disciplined. But if you're just hanging out, and
I do think people can learn. I think that people can learn the discipline because not everybody gets it like right away. But
no, but you have to have the motivation, or you have to have a breaking point with enough.
I think you also have to have someone to care about you. Like, you have to have that NCO there to care for you.
Either your I agree with you. Either your NCO or you just are like self-reflective enough to where you're like, I just want to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And either one is self-motivation or it's environment.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have that, or you don't want that, and it doesn't make a difference, there's like, unfortunately, you can't make people hungry or motivated. And I don't mean hungry like physically hungry. I mean like hungry as in, to like do better. Yeah. Totally agree with you on that one.
I get that. Let's see. You must be super fit. I think this one is on the same lines as the other one. Yes, you have to be fit. Does that mean everybody is? No.
You're supposed to be. You're supposed to be fit.
Should they be? Yes.
Nope. I
miss those 10 free points that we used to get for the waist measurement.
I never had that.
Really? It used to be it used to be 10 free points, and it wasn't free points, but if you were in like the green of the waist measurement, which like the last time I got my waist measured, it was like 23 inches. Like if you're 23 inches isn't even on the chart.
Oh, flex, Riles. Flex.
Sorry, if the breeze blows, I'll get blown away. So, yeah,
Oh,
but
you're
it
so
used to be 10 points, but now what they've done is it's called the body composition.
Yeah. Is
They
it BMI?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, it is BMI. So it's a waist measurement in your birthday month. And then if you fall on like the big side of the waist measurement with like BMI and stuff, then they refer you to your PCM. And then I think it's 6 months. I could be wrong about the time. It's either 3 months or 6 months that you have
No, that sounds about right. I think it's
to
6
get
months.
it back down. And if you don't get it down to where it needs to be, then you'll get put up for a separation.
I had
I
a
agree with
PCM.
it.
I agree. I agree. I had a PCM, and I call him Dr. House because
Mhm.
he was an a-hole, but super smart, crazy
yeah.
smart. A lot of people would say they prefer it, but if you came in and you had back pain and you were also overweight, he
The
would
first
tell
thing that he was
you
gonna tell you was to lose weight.
that you are fat and that you need to lose weight, and if your symptoms are still there, then it's probably something else. But until you lose all the extra he would literally pull me into the room. He would say, I want you to come into the room so that you can tell people this so I don't have to do it. And I'm like, sir, major, respectfully, I will never say this. I'm so sorry. I'm like, I will always leave this to you. But he was like, you're fat, you need to lose weight, and if you come back and your back still hurts, then we can look at other medical options, but until then, it's probably a legitimate factor. And I was like, sir, you made that man cry.
That's a little intense.
He was very intense. He was very intense. He was very, very intense.
Yeah, I don't like, from the medical standpoint, and like I go back and forth with this like a lot because I think that part of me, this is kind of, stick with me here. I kind of put large, like I'm talking like my 600-pound life bariatric patients and like addiction into the same category. And like no one wakes up one day and is like, oh, I want to do hard drugs, like I want to do this. Or no one wakes up one day and is like, you know what, actually I want to be 600 pounds and immobile like for the rest of my life, like that kind of thing. So like I kind of classify them into like the same category. Obviously I've never seen anyone active duty military who weighs 600 pounds. Does that mean that I don't see people who are out of shape every day? But that goes back 2 points ago to the discipline.
Yep.
That's a huge piece of discipline. Like,
yeah.
And I know some people that can, like, I don't know, some people that do their PT test once a year and that's the only time that they work out and they get over the 90 and they're good to go. And like, if you can do that, congratulations. That's not going to last forever.
No, it's not. And the other thing too is the more you become a leader, I feel like if you aren't physically locked in, and that doesn't necessarily mean jacked for, ladies or gentlemen. But it's a lot harder to lead if someone can look at you and tell by your physical appearance that you are not disciplined in the way either you spend your free time or the way you consume food, which is come on, you know what I'm saying. That's a military thing too. Like we're all like military is meant to go to war. We're meant to do whatever. Different things like that. So like I understand, and I think for different like special units, it's definitely a thing as well. I think it's definitely a thing. Do I think that we should have providers telling people that they're fat? No. I think a more appropriate word would be overweight, or increased BMI. But
I was looking at my chart not that long ago, and it was like urgent notice, like severe critical like result, and I was like, oh my god, like what's wrong with me? Like,
for your medical record?
Yeah. And I was like, what is happening? Like, oh my gosh, like whatever. So I'm going back through it, and
she's critically beautiful. It's
they
over.
had switched my height and my weight. So my BMI was like 231. And I was like, Hey guys, can we like fix this?
I did that to a patient once. It's like a very baby medic thing to do because
Oh
you're doing
yeah.
everything
Oh yeah.
super fast, and it's I think the weight is in kilograms, and then so it's
Hmm.
usually like two numbers, and then
Hmm.
the height is in centimeters. So
Yeah.
sometimes the centimeters can look like pounds, and then your weight can look like, oh, they're 5'7". And I remember
Yeah.
I did that in the beginning. They're like, why did you make my very fit patient short and very wide? And I was like, I don't know. How did I do that? And they were
I
like,
had a
you
walking
did.
roly poly in the
Yeah,
office.
that's what he
Like,
said. He was like, do we have a roly poly as a patient? I was like, no, he's very fit.
gosh,
Oh, I fixed it. I fixed it. It's a baby medic thing,
it
okay?
is a very medic thing. You can go and amend the note, and it's
Yeah, it's
fine.
fine. It's fine. Just the oopsie daisy, it's okay. It's like the red thermometer and the not red thermometer. You learn, it's a
My
thing.
students brought that up to me, and
They
I
watched
was,
the podcast.
they must have because they brought it up,
I
and I was
told you
like,
they
y'all are a bunch of weirdos. If you're listening to this right now, go study. Stop.
stop watching your teacher. Go be sad in your dorms and go have your pecan pie. Girl, that was the best thing.
Pecan.
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 Pecan. It sounds more bougie.
What do you call like the very top of a house?
A roof?
Oh, okay. I thought you
I'm
were
not
gonna
a
say
dog. It's not a
a
roof.
roof.
I do say a vase. I don't say a vase. And that's not because I'm trying to be different. Do you remember Hercules?
Yes, Megan.
Okay. I
Meg.
watched Hercules on VHS when I was little, okay?
Yeah.
And VHS was this thing. It was like a block, and you'd put it in a TV.
Girl, I know
Riley.
what VHS was. I know the struggle of having to reverse it.
Okay. So there's a scene in Hercules where like all the pretty like singer
Mhm.
ladies are like telling a song about like Hercules who went from zero to hero, and they're like, and they put his name on every vase, and then another girl like hits her over the head with the vase, and she goes on every vase. And so I associated saying vase with getting bonked on the head when I was little. So
Okay.
I've always said vase, and my family didn't pick on it up until way later. And they're like, "Why are you different?"
Yeah, it's not like a typical word that like comes up in conversation.
Yeah, I was like, "I'm not trying to be different, but do y'all remember the violent thing that Disney showed us?"
That's funny.
But yeah, it's pecan. If you're there, try and get the pecan. It's so good.
I
Unless
don't
you're
think I've
allergic,
ever
then eat it.
had pecan pie.
Oh my god, at the D girl, I've thought about that pie once
Really?
once a quarter since I've left
Oh.
Fort Sam. It was the sweetest, and I've never had pecan pie before. It was the most delicious thing, and it made me so happy. I would get 2 slices, and I would hide the other slice from room inspections. And it was so good.
Have you ever had a butter tart before?
I don't think so. What's a butter
Oh.
tart?
It's a Canadian thing, but it's like
Ooh.
I've never had pecan pie, but essentially it's like it's the filling of a pecan pie, but they're in like little tiny. They're so good. They're
Ooh.
so good. They're a Canadian thing though.
Have you had poutine?
Mhm.
Oh, so fucking good.
Girl, I'm essentially from Canada.
Are you really?
I'm New York.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You're a little New Yorker
York.
Riles.
New
I'm
York.
walking here. I'm Riley. Yo, hey,
Yeah.
yo.
Which kind of segues us into the next one.
Base segue.
You can't have a personality in the military. Do you know? Okay, there's so many memes about it, but like never in a million years are you ever gonna see the dude who grew up in the Bronx be best friends with the dude who grew up on a farm in Wyoming.
Louisiana. Oh yeah. Yep.
You will never see that shit anywhere else. Like, do you understand how many personalities come together?
Best duos ever. Yep.
Yeah. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's insane.
It's
You can
great.
absolutely have a personality in the military. We are not robots. You are not. Are you conditioned? Sure, absolutely. But you are
There's
100% allowed.
Yeah, there's definitely certain things you can't have publicly. Like you can't have a public political opinion. You
are not in uniform or associated with the military.
I thought they changed it to where even if you're offline, you can't have one.
Mm-mm.
No? Okay.
Yeah,
So when
just
you're in
family.
uniform, you can't have a political opinion. You can't have what is it? You can't talk negatively about commander in chief, obviously.
Yeah, that one's pretty obvious.
And then I feel like there's another one. You might know more because you're in an instructor mode,
I think that's
but
like the big one is like obviously like you
no
can't talk
public affection.
negatively in uniform. Yeah.
Yeah, in uniform. So like I get why people would say that, but it's only, I guess, only in uniform.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's like gross though. Like, why are you macking on each other in uniform? Stop.
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 Stop it. You're just two floating heads. You're just in camo. Just
Yeah, you're just there. Like you don't
gross.
need to be.
Don't be in love. It's gross. It's disgusting. Blah.
Cooties.
Cooties are gross.
Yes, but you can 100% absolutely have a personality. All right, next one. You must have PTSD, right?
Everybody has it. Oh yeah.
I feel like
Tinnitus for sure.
one of my friends says tinnitus and it drives me crazy.
Why the hell did she say tinnitus?
He does, and he's from Alabama.
Did he grow up saying tinnitus?
Oh, absolutely not.
I was gonna say, did Alabama boy even know what tinnitus was?
Probably not, but he says that. I think there was like a huge stigma with, because like when I, before like I really like entered like the medical like hemisphere, like mental health wasn't really like a thing that was like talked about, and I 100% correlated PTSD with the military due to deployments, and like that was like a huge thing, and like war and deployments was the thing that causes PTSD. Does it? Yes, obviously. Yeah. But I think that there's like a lot of other things that come from that.
Oh yeah, like, the amount of people that I had walked up to mental health that had PTSD, had never deployed. And that's not like I feel like PTSD kind of gets thrown around a lot, especially like in 2025. Like I think it's definitely like a trendy thing to have for sure. Or I don't want to say trendy, but it's definitely like watered down.
I don't know. We might piss some people off, which we'll decide if we want to keep this in. I feel like COVID, when people really started going on social media, everyone started popping up with PTSD, and then CPTSD, childhood PTSD, became like a diagnosis, and then ADHD and ADD, and now autism is becoming.
I had this moment when I was streaming on Twitch. Let me know what you think about this. So someone came in, and I don't remember what I said. I said something that provoked them to say, that's not fair because I'm neurodivergent. And I was like, what's neurodivergent? And they said it's like, it was difficulty like understanding something, or like a difficulty to relate to something. They said something along the lines of that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm pretty sure that's not like a diagnosis code. And that was just my medical brain being like, I don't ever remember having the diagnosis code for anybody being neurodivergent. And cause like me, I just was processing things medically, and I was like, what diagnosis is that? Did I miss something that was updated in the MSDS, whatever it's called? And so I Googled it, and it's like this term that I'd have to Google it, but it's like a spectrum.
Yeah. It's like an umbrella for like autism and like ADHD. So like it's like a
it was something about attention.
Yeah, it's like a neurotypical person versus like a neurodivergent person.
Yeah. What did I just say? What was it called?
Neurodivergent.
Neurodivergent, define. This is just the first thing AI Google comes up with, which neurodivergent refers to individuals whose brain processes, learn, and behave differently from what is considered typical or standard. This term encompasses a wide range to include autism, ADHD, dyslexia, and neurological differences.
Is neurodivergent like an actual diagnosis?
I looked up, what is it called? The ICD-10 code?
Yeah.
ICD. That's what I looked up. I was like, is it an ICD-10 code? Neurodivergence is not specified ICD-10 code, but encompasses a range of conditions that are classified for multiple symptoms such as autism, attention, ADHD. But I just remember, like, and I didn't mean this in a disrespectful way, but it's honestly not big of a deal. I don't think it's really that deep. Like, if people are gonna say stuff, I'm sure doctors and surgeons feel like super frustrated by people being like, I think it's broke. I'm like, actually, it's a hairline fracture. Actually, it's not a hairline, it's a green stick fracture. Only kids have those. Like, it's not that deep, but I just remember I was a little bit like confused because someone took something like personally in a way that I didn't mean, which happens if you're doing anything online. But yeah, I was just confused. But it's like taking it, like, it was taken like super seriously and like in an offensive way, and they were like offended when I didn't say like neurodivergence is like a diagnosis code, and I was like, but it's not. Like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, is like, what is your and they're like, I have problem like staying at like having attention on things.
And I think that that's also, I think that that is really affecting the mental health community, people self-diagnosing themselves with things.
I don't know why people want to have a problem. I don't know why people want to be coded.
I don't know either. Have you come across the videos of people being like, formerly known as multiple personalities? The new diagnosis is dissociative identity disorder, but people online being like, welcome to my system, and it's like them with like the multiple personalities, and they're like, I'm a red-tailed fox in this body, and I'm a 42-year-old man in this body, and I'm a 6-year-old girl in this body, and like that kind of thing. But I'm also autistic, and I'm also neurodivergent, and I also have PTSD and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's I guess every younger group of people that are still learning about themselves and trying to find themselves want to fall into something that's like categorized, right? And I feel like if you feel a certain way in one moment, you want to have something that you can like point to and be like, that's what I am. And then when you have another feeling, you're like, that's what I am too. And it's just like,
yeah, but like a BuzzFeed quiz cannot diagnose you with autism.
Oh, I agree with you. I totally agree. And like, have you seen the kid where he's it's like his mom or his sister, and she's like, this is my son or brother, like he has autism, and then he laughs. He's like, I don't, or he's like, he suffers from autism. He's like, I don't suffer from it. I just have it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Super, like super cute, super endearing. But like, yeah, it's definitely a weird thing that we have going on in the States. I don't think it's the healthiest thing.
Oh, I don't think it is either, but I feel like that's where like social media is kind of taking PTSD as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting here like talking all of this, but like I have like genuine like diagnosed like PTSD, like went to therapy for it, like worked through her, like got to the point like where we are now, like where I don't flinch if I hear a loud sound or like whatever it is. And like there's different triggers with PTSD, and like my PTSD happened while I was in the military, but the military didn't cause my PTSD, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
Like,
yeah. Yep.
It was caused by someone in the military while I was in the military. The military didn't do it, you know?
I think technically though, like when you get out for VA stuff, I think because it was acquired via another military individual, it is service connected because it was related to your service.
It was it's also, what's it called? It affected the way that I functioned.
Yeah. Yeah. So like your daily ability,
activities of daily living was affected.
Yep.
But not everybody has PTSD in the military. There are people that have it. Yeah. But not everybody does.
I don't think everybody does. And I don't think that you also need to be in the military to have it. That's definitely not what we're saying. You can definitely have it, and it's not exclusive or like gatekeep.
But it's also not like it's not something to seek. And I want to be very clear with what we are saying. Like, if you have PTSD, you have PTSD. If you find validation in like getting an actual diagnosis, because that was a really big thing for me, was like actually getting like diagnosed with stuff. But like, it's not mental health isn't a trend.
Poor mental health isn't a trend.
Portraying having poor mental health is not a trend.
It's not a healthy trend, yeah. It's not a healthy thing. And I don't get why it's a thing. And I honestly don't think anyone's really gonna like disagree with us because we're not like putting anybody down. We're not saying like you can't have it, but I think there is an acknowledgement. Honestly, I don't think our viewers fall under this, but I think everyone can like understand that there is like a weird unhealthy like trend of like being unhealthy and like supporting unhealthiness. I can understand why it would come about. I understand like wanting to label something so you have a feeling of like identification, especially when you're younger. And if you find that in mental health trends, that's unfortunate, but I don't think it's also your fault. I think TikTok promotes very exclusive and almost unhealthy consumption behavior. Like, it's definitely not a mystery for what is constantly in your face versus what's not in your face.
Do you know who Eugenia Cooney is?
No.
I'm so surprised that you don't.
Who is that?
She was real big when I was like younger on YouTube, and like she was like a emo girl who like did her makeup and stuff. Very, very, very obvious girl suffering with her mental health. 60 pounds soaking wet.
Oh yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Disappeared from the internet a couple years ago and is now resurfaced and looks 10 times worse than what she did back in 2013.
She's the one that looks like you can see her skeleton.
Oh yeah, like
you can see her skeleton.
Literal skeleton, like not exaggeration, like literal skeleton. But like I don't know, people are still consuming that social media, which, you know, social media so affects your mental health.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. That's honestly why I have my feed. Like, I don't really scroll on TikTok anymore.
Yeah.
But that's why my Instagram is like cute dogs and capybaras and anime and like, you know, like pretty dresses.
Yeah.
And that's
I remember crying when I first got my first hate comment.
Oh, do you remember what it was?
No, probably someone called me a boot.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, what the hell is a boot?
What's your opinion on being like a content creator and having hate comments? Because I've talked to a couple and some are like, I post stuff and then I don't check the comments because it like affects my mental health. And I have some people that they're like, oh, I respond to those. Or some people are like, I don't really care.
I definitely in the beginning it definitely got Baby Riley. Like the comments would get me and I'd be like, oh my gosh, like blah blah blah, whatever. I think what really affected me, and to be honest with you, still does when it happens, is when the Airman NCO page posts me.
That's never a good post.
No. And then, so if you guys don't know, the Airman NCO page is this huge Facebook group. It's literally called the Airman NCO Senior NCO page. And when I first joined the Air Force, it was a very useful page. And they would post about like current events and like things that were happening and like just all of that stuff.
Advice.
And then, advice and like stuff from the inbox and like whatever it was. And then COVID happened, right? And COVID changed the entirety of social media and everything else in between. And, you know, they started posting my TikToks and that kind of thing. And like the comments on there, disgusting. I remember the first time, and I went ham, and right, there was like a major who had like commented and like had asked for like my OF and was like, and I was like, can I not,
OF?
Yeah. And I was like, can I not do something about this? Like, this is disgusting. Like, this dude, he's a major. He's a pilot. Like, can I not do something about this? And they were like, no, because I remember my leadership was like, well, you chose to post on social media. Like, you can't control. And I was like, this is disgusting. Like, whatever. And now what the Airman NCO page does when they post me is they turn the comments off. So they will
Straight
still make
up?
it so people can like and share it, but no one can comment on it. And like my
Babes.
friends are great, right? Because like I keep a very like small group of people like close
Mhm.
to me.
Mhm.
And like, you know, they would go in and they'd be like Riley is the sweetest person I know, like blah blah blah, like these comments are disgusting, like da 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 da. And like
Yeah.
at some point, like I just don't care. The salty soldier too. Fuck those people. Fuck the salty
Ooh!
soldier. Fuck the salty soldier. And I say that from the deepest depths of my heart.
What happened?
They write tabloid articles about me.
Mm.
They write tabloid articles about me. And the first time it happened was when I first started making videos about my pants. That was the very first time.
I remember that.
Yeah, and I literally like completely innocent talking about my pants. And then there was
And that's a
another
super common thing people say too. They're like, "Why do girls wear it so hard?" It's like that's
yeah.
the way they're freaking made.
Yeah. So then I had made another video. It's gone and deleted now, but it was a trending audio, and the audio was like they didn't look like you back in my day. And I made a video and it was me with a stethoscope and it was like POV, my 65-year-old patient comes in. And that was it. And like it was whatever. And the article that was written about me was titled Air Force medic takes her pants off for veteran.
Whoa!
And then it just kept going, and there's probably been like 4, 5, 6, 7, probably 10 articles written about me. Just disgusting, clickbaity, gross stuff.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
It's those I'm not even gonna lie, those bother me. Those really, really bother me because then
They
the
should.
Airman NCO page picks them up and they start posting them, and like I genuinely like I would never be that person. It's like, oh, I'm a good person. Like I am a good person. Like I
Riley,
really
you're a
am a good
sweetheart.
person.
You're a tough
And
cookie and you have a big heart.
I care about my job a lot
You
because
love your
I have
job.
a really big job right now. And like when it
Yeah.
comes to perception and
It's everything.
it's everything. And
It's
I
everything.
don't think that people understand that. But you know, the old man veteran who I know is running the Airman NCO page is he's salty, and they cannot understand how powerful social media is and the
Yeah.
things that it is doing for this Air Force today.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. But those bother me. Comments on my actual videos don't, because at the end of the day, I'm the one who's in control of those. So if I don't like what you're commenting, I'm gonna delete it. Like
Yeah, there
yeah.
was I forgot who it was. It was somebody, it was like a bigger creator and they were like if anybody says anything like super out of pocket, I just like
Mhm.
delete and block them.
Mhm.
And I was like, "Huh, that's a really like I'm glad I'm kind of not the only person that like does that."
Oh yeah,
um
I am block happy. I will block anyone.
and it's not like oh goodness. It's not like I don't know. It's just it's like controlling your space, I guess. I feel like it's like
It is my
controlling your
peace, and I
space.
will protect my peace the best way
Yeah.
that I can. So if you are commenting gross, nasty things, you will be blocked, and it is that simple.
Yeah, I definitely have like hardcore things where like if someone says something, I just like block them. Sometimes if it's negative, like I don't terribly mind it.
Mhm.
I would say if I'm being like honest and when I launched my fanfics,
Mhm.
fanfics has the word fans in it and so
Mhm.
does another platform,
Mhm.
right? So I remember I was so excited and I was so stoked. I remember like I was live on Twitch and I was so happy. I finally got to be able to tell everybody and I was super excited and I was like this is like my first pretty picture where I actually feel like I'm wearing something like flattering, and it was honestly just like a tank top. It was just like a tank
Yeah.
top. I was looking in the camera and I was like, finally, I'm not doing something goofy or I'm doing something in uniform. And then like I got so many comments and it was like so disheartening because like my content's been very clean.
Yeah.
It's been super clean, super meticulous for like a really, really long time. And I've like definitely like put over a year of like consistency of being like a certain way online, and then people were just saying like um they were just thinking it was something else because the word fan was in it. And so at first there's like a lot of negative comments, and
Yeah.
then other people started coming in and like correcting them.
Mhm.
Because like I was correcting them in the comments, but nobody cared. And that's what kind of
Yeah.
threw me off. I was like, nobody actually cares that this is a suitable for work platform. Like it's
Mhm.
literally known for being suitable for work. Like it is in like you have to apply to be on there, and you are not allowed to post anything inappropriate
Yeah.
like at all, like you will get kicked off. And I remember just being so heartbroken because it's just like people kind of think what they want to think, they leave a comment and then they like dip.
Yeah.
And then it was like afterwards, I had to Google what the word, I don't know if this is a YouTube term, if I want to say this, but I had to Google what gooner meant.
I don't know what that is.
It is a person that consumes a lot of pornography.
Oh.
So they assume everything that they're consuming content wise is in
Hmm.
some way related to an inappropriate behavior.
Mm.
But like people had to come in and like comment like, you know, you are obviously on other sites like way too much. Like this is publicly known as like a suitable for work platform.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just remember I got really disheartened, and it kind of like broke my heart a little bit because I was like, I did like I've been so clean and for so long, and I was really excited about something new, like to do like a behind the scenes stuff,
Mhm.
and then those comments just like totally like made me like sad. But then people kind of came in afterwards. I got over it, like it was totally fine, but like I think like and that was kind of more recent. And I know you're not supposed to care about comments. I know if you care about comments, you shouldn't be on the internet.
But at the end of the day, like you are still a person. Like you are still allowed to have feelings.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're a human. Like it's gonna happen, and like that sucks. But like you also don't need those people in your space. You know.
I don't. If anybody mentions like anything that deals with the other like fan site, I just like delete and block. I'm
Oh
just like
yeah.
that's like my thing there. But I hope like nobody in the military ever judges like you based off of like the people with bad intentions that try to use you as like a way of having viral negative press. Like that should never be used against you. And also if you're on the internet, even if you have the best reputation in the world, like things are still gonna
happen.
it's still gonna happen. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
And I don't, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I kind of want to be strong and be like, comments don't affect me. And they shouldn't. But sometimes,
You're still a human.
dang. I know.
You're still a human.
I know.
There's bigger pictures to everything, and a lot of people don't see that.
No.
But
Yeah.
well, folks,
We can't end on a sad note. One more happy thing. One more like
one more happy thing.
one more topic. What other Mythbuster you got?
Sad.
I feel sad talking about it.
Don't cry. Military medics just want to patch people up and move on.
It's not our fault. It's DHA.
It's not our fault.
It's not our fault. It's DHA. Fault.
And it's not
Department of Health Association, by the way, that runs the military.
It's not even. I don't know. I feel like, and like, coming from two military medics to you, people do not get forgotten about.
No.
The empanelment, aka like the amount of people that we have to take care of, is huge. It is huge. And this is not to push off your issues, but like
we don't have enough providers.
There's not enough providers. There's not enough medics. There's not enough resources. There is
not enough freaking rooms.
Enough. There is not enough. I had this is like a perfect example, actually. So we had a patient who had come in. He was an older gentleman. He was coming in for like a pre-clearance for surgery. Super easy. It was an EKG, lab work, I think like a non-stress test, right? Super easy.
Okay. Yep.
Get it done. Probably 30 minutes probably after he got his lab work done, so probably about an hour after he was there, we get a call from the lab that was a like extremely critical lab, right? So they
Oh,
had called me and they were like, "Hey, like go get your nurse now."
yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, "Oh shit, like this is bad." This patient's hemoglobin was at a 5, which normal adult hemoglobin for a male is anywhere between like 14 and 18. He essentially had like no red blood cells in his body. And he was fine. He was fine when he was there, right? So, you know, like immediate panic, right? Because he looked fine when he was there, but like medic brain, right? He's lacking hemoglobin. Where is the hemoglobin? Either two options. He's internally bleeding or he has cancer, or he has cancer and he's internally bleeding somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So then it turned into find his phone number immediately. You call 911. We need to send the ambulance to his house because he is so sick, right? And this took so many resources. It took so many people because we couldn't get a hold of him. So we had to call the partner and like blah blah blah. And we're on the phone with dispatch and like we're giving all this information, and then our other provider is calling the hospital to let the hospital know, and we're faxing over the information, right? So like this is our resources going into this one patient because our patient needs this right now.
Yep.
I am sorry that you are getting upset because you are getting pulled back 5 minutes late for your appointment. Right?
There's so much stuff that goes on behind.
I had a patient who he coded in like the middle of like the med group, like literally in the middle of the med group, and like my other patient was upset with me that I was late to the appointment after we had just worked on this guy. And like
and that's not like a one person job.
Oh no.
There's a whole system. You have to get a provider, you have to get an AED, you have to get oxygen, you have to get you have to notify XYZ. Like and you don't want just a one person. Like anybody that can go will go to that. That's
and it's so have some grace with your medics. Do have some grace. And a lot of it isn't really on us, right? Like your referral that you haven't heard back from, we put it in. We put your referral in. I don't know where it is.
Call referral management after 48 hours. Call referral management.
It'll go to them, but then it has to get picked up by a different agency, and like
but they have a tracker.
Like
they have a tracker.
They know where everything is. But like I don't know. I don't know where your referral is.
Nope. Sorry, but it's in because we send it, we put it in, then the doc signs it, and then it goes to referral management, and then referral management has it talk to wherever we're referring to, and they send it back, and then but referral management has like a tracking team. They have trackers, and we literally call and say, "Can you put a tracker on this?" And they go, "Tracker activated, and they do their little thing.
They do it all, but I promise you do not get pushed to the side purposefully. If there's one of you, there is 50 of you all at the same time.
I know.
So, I got a clipboard thrown at my head one time.
What?
This lady was this patient was upset because it was during COVID. They had COVID symptoms. I told them that they couldn't be in the med group. And they threw a clipboard at my head. And that's when
Where'd she get a dang clipboard, Riley?
The front desk.
She stole a front desk clipboard and
she just grabbed it, and that's when I turn on my gentle parenting. Ma'am, we do not throw clipboards at people's heads. You can't do that. That was my favorite because I very nice. I was very sweet about it. Ma'am, we do not do that. You can't do that. And immediately pisses them off more.
Riley, you're such a little instigator.
What? Okay.
You're so feisty. To be fair, she threw a clipboard at your head.
What was the better option in that scenario? What did you say? Right now, clipboard at your head. You didn't dodge it or anything.
Do it again.
That was delayed. It hit you.
Girl!
Okay, what are you saying? You dodge it.
I don't know. I never had anybody. I had the knife thing, but that was it. And I had an angry patient, but I always did I don't know. I always spoke softly, and and I did the side by side thing, but I never had someone chuck a clipboard on my head. So I don't know. You did the right thing. You know what? You should have squared up with her. You should have taken her
Oh
down.
hell no!
You should have done.
I will
just-
never, ever in a million years square up with a patient. I had another patient. He was very upset with me. He was very, very upset with me because I could not give him what he wanted.
What did
Sir,
you want?
I can't say, but he wanted something.
Oh.
I could not give it to him. I literally couldn't. They had already told him no. The provider had come in and told him no, right?
Sounds like a controlled substance.
I was a senior airman with a line number for staff. I was the NCOIC of my clinic. So he was like, I want to speak to your NCO. And I was like, I am the NCO. And he was like, I want to speak to your NCOIC. And I was like, I am the NCOIC. And he was like, I want to speak to your flight chief. And I was like, I'm covering for the flight chief. And he was like, I'm the patient advocate. And I was like, I am the patient advocate. Like, sir, you are not getting this. And like, I've never yelled at a patient. I've never once yelled at a patient, but like sometimes you do have to be stern. Like, sir, you cannot get this. You can't. There is no way that you are walking out of here with what you want.
No. I know.
Yeah. It's like 4 years ago and it still gets
Flip your hair. Oh, what a day. What a day. I can't believe I can't believe you had such a little you've had some crazy patients, girly. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, for sure.
You had some crazy stuff. I haven't had any of those. I had a lot of sad things, but like that's it. I
had a very busy first couple of years in the military.
It sounds like it. But you have like the best stories though. Did you tell the clipboard one to your not your patients, to your students?
I have before, but like that's also it may come up during like de-escalation, but I also have like 10 other stories that top that.
No. Do you teach them I did this all the time and it worked like a charm. It worked like a charm. The side by side.
Yeah, no, I don't know what that was. You said that.
Oh, you don't do the side by side method?
Maybe if you explain it.
Side by side method is where you have an upset patient and you like I always spoke into like a very like soft calming voice, especially with angry patients. I would always just be like, I'm like, give them to me, whatever. And you sit by their side. So like if they're in the patient room or if they're in the lobby and they're making like a scene, they'd get asked to sit down. They'd go sit down. I'd come over and I wouldn't be in front of them. I would be next to them. And if they were in the chair, I would crouch down. So like I was below them so that because something about the body where you're looking like this versus like this.
Yeah.
Like, this is more confronting versus like this, you're sharing information, you're going here, this is for you. Then they look to the side. It's like it's just the side by side method.
I've never heard it called the side by side. Like obviously like a huge thing that we teach is like you never tower over your patient. Like you always take a knee, like you're always down next to that's definitely something like I preach, but I'm sure that I've done it, but I've never just called it the side by side, like sitting next to them.
Yeah, I wouldn't like sit next to them. I would usually like if they're in a chair, I'd get like next to them.
I'm just picturing like the patient table and like you being like, all right, scoot you over. Like, what's going on today? And they're like,
let's go in. Hey, I heard we're upset. I brought you a cookie. Let's see what we can do today. Come on,
let's nap for a little bit, brother.
Yeah, I got you a mint. You like mints? I knew you would. Here you go. So we can't fix this, but here's what we can do. Here's what we can do.
Yeah. Well, what do you say?
I say boots off. That was a fun. I love it when we ramble.
Sam, we're just
love it when we ramble.
We're just two girls rambling. We're just two girls yapping.
Yeah, I like it. And then no guest this week. Guest next week. Next week.
Big things. Next Wednesday we'll be having a big old guest. You'll be excited about it.
I'm excited.
We're thrilled. We're super thrilled. We're really, really excited to have the opportunity to sit down with this person. I'm sure that you guys are going to be super excited to also hear what this person has to say. So, super excited. But, folks, we will be here every Wednesday. We post at 1 a.m. We are here on YouTube if you are listening to us. We are also over on Instagram if you want to go give us a follow at Boots Off.
Follow us.
Please. Make sure that you are liking,
Tea.
sharing, subscribing, all of the things, and let us
Commenting.
know. Yeah, make sure you guys comment. Let us know what you want to see. Let us know your thoughts, feelings, opinions.
If you're Riley's student, I order you to like this video, and she will pass you because I asked her to.
That's
There
absolutely
we-
not going to happen. You should go and study and stop being
Listen.
weird.
Listen to me, students of Riley.
That is
You want to
not
pass?
what's gonna
Like the
happen.
video.
No, go study and maybe you will pass. All right.
Yeah.
Boots off.
Boots off.
Stuff.
Boots off. Boots off.
Boots
Boots off.
Boots
Boots off.
Boots off.
Boots off.